Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Awesome. Pull your wagons around. Good look.
Brain fire.
Well, thanks for being here, everybody. It's exciting. Let's start with some new introductions. Why don't you guys tell us who you guys are and to the group?
Yeah, my name's Tanner Morrill, and I'm meeting with Lindsay this morning again. Been here a week or two ago. It was very great. So my business isn't where I want it to be, so thinking about a shift.
Nice. Well, that's good, man.
Welcome
Good
to
to see you.
the support group of our businesses.
That's awesome.
Out there, Curtis.
Right? That's awesome.
Thanks for not
Derrick.
Hi, my name's Curtis, and I take overpriced listings.
I'm addicted to overpriced listings. That is so funny.
My name is Brandon Freeman. I met Jeffrey a few weeks back, and he transferred over here, and he told me to come check it out. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it. Welcome. Yes. Nice. I think everybody else looks pretty familiar. So, thanks for being here. Announcements. Today, as you can see, there's a lot of food in the room. Today we have that pantry packing party. Please try to show up for this. That's a lot of stuff.
tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow? Oh, sorry.
Thursday.
Okay, so I'm getting you ahead of the game. Be here tomorrow for that. So, this is a great opportunity for us to actually use a Facebook Live showing how we're supporting the community, feeding kids after school with these packs. This is a great thing for social media for you. Use it, leverage it, be here to help also. Make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, and then we've got NARAP coming up. George is a keynote speaker on that. That's on the 23rd. So make sure you can get to that. Also, our call night went really well last night.
Yeah, I was
We
gonna
had-
ask about that.
Yeah, really good. We had some great things. We got 2 winners for the gift certificates last night. I think a few appointments were set. We had a lot of contacts being made. We started at 4:30 and ended at about 6:30. So anytime we have these guys, leverage in on this. Good thing for your business. Get the energy going.
And does everybody keep their own contacts and leads, or do you
Of course.
share?
No.
Cool.
No,
Yep.
share.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I have too many, please.
So contests that we're having. 1 listing taken, it's a ticket. 1 new buyer under contract, it's a ticket. Show up call night, it's a ticket. 1 outgoing referral, or as many as you can get, it's a ticket. You take those tickets, we're putting it in a drawing at the end of the month, and we're gonna have a raffling off a iPad mini with case. Really nice little iPad. So, am I missing anything there on the contest?
No.
Okay. Base camp today, really exciting because we have Sam Bell, who's going to come in and talk to us on base camp at 11:30 to 12:30. Guys, this is one you won't want to miss. This guy is just one of the most powerful attorneys I've ever met. But he understands to the finite detail of how we should be walking through real estate and some of the things could possibly and potentially get us in trouble. Not sure if it's CE credit, do we know?
It's not.
Okay.
But it's things that we overlook in all our transactions, which we should pay attention to, and he's gonna shine light on that a little bit today. So it's really important to be very.
Perfect. So I want you guys,
I
go
was
ahead.
just gonna say, I think you said his unofficial title is Everything We're All Doing Wrong Most of the Time.
Pretty much, yeah.
And look, guys, that's a real rarity for us here to have a compliance division like this and to be able to have this kind of backing. It does set you apart from other brokerages. To be able to have that kind of guide us, steer us in the right direction when the waters are so rough. Does that make sense? So I love having these guys here and educating us because as we elevate like that, we are stronger realtors. you'll do a lot more business. Am I forgetting anything?
No, there's Toastmasters today at
That's
1
right.
at 1 p.m. as well. And so please join in anytime. You're welcome to hop in as a guest first to see and observe and find the
There's a
value.
seat right here.
And you're welcome to sign in.
Oh, he's like, there's one too.
Can I give a plug about
Yes, please.
Please.
It is awesome
Mhm.
because our job is to present every single day or as often as possible and communicate effectively at a high level with who we're presenting to. And I found that Toastmasters allows us to practice that skill set in a comfortable, well, not necessarily a comfortable environment, but maybe a safe environment, safe and caring, where everybody's wanting us to be better and non-judgmental. At least the judgment comes with white gloves and soft hands.
Yeah,
I like that.
It really
Sure.
improves your presentation. It's really good to take part in that and practice that.
I jumped in my first week here going to Toastmasters. It was very scary. I was shaking, I was sweating. I don't know if anybody noticed, but afterwards, I swear, just that fear, I was like, what is there to be afraid of? Like, go. And it
That's
really
awesome.
does give you like a perspective of, you know what, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Nothing to be afraid of, nothing to worry about.
And we're
And
not gonna
yeah, like it gives you a lot of insight, a lot of good advice, and it helps you be more self-aware of the way you speak and present yourself.
Oh yeah.
The number one fear people have is public speaking.
Sure.
Isn't that interesting? But we're always speaking in public. We're not in public unless you're talking to yourself all the time. That's a whole other problem. So it's when you start answering yourself, it even gets worse. So anyway, show up to Toastmasters. It's an awesome opportunity. So the book. Oh, before I do that, wins and victories, real quick. Anybody have any really cool wins or victories? We have a few here today for us.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? Yeah.
One thing I discovered this week is an app called A Time Logger,
Oh wow.
and now I can track every minute of my day.
Ooh,
It's super cool.
that's way cool.
Yeah, and every morning I just get on there, do a report for the previous day, and I can see exactly how much time I spent in my car commuting, prospecting, family time. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's
I didn't
super cool
notice
for
how
the
productive
analytical
you are.
person.
Right?
For the analyticals.
Yes. So Ruby's going to be doing a class on
Actually doing a training on it.
yeah on time tracking. I mean, it's going to be really fun to have that because
Fabulous time management.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Easy here, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks.
So okay. So great. So the book. Let's hurry and get into it because we don't have a whole lot of time to get into a lot of stuff. Ground confidence and rumbling skills, curiosity, and practice. What are we saying here? Who's reading the book?
Oh, how sad.
Jonathan's read it, what, 3-4 times now?
3, yeah.
Okay. So here,
Listen, 3,
yeah. So as we talk about this, if somebody can't answer it, Jonathan is, or I'll read to you what I just got out of it, which is way cool. Anybody? What does it mean?
repeat what you said because I wasn't listening to you.
Yeah.
Ground confidence.
Thanks.
Grounded confidence equals rumbling skills and curiosity and practice.
Oh, sounds like me.
Tell me more.
Being me. I don't know, like I guess I don't know where to even start or how to explain that, but it just from recognizing where you're at, where you want to go. When you say like being grounded, you definitely have to have control. And I don't know.
I like that. No, thanks for
I
sharing
was
that.
like, is
I
that
think you're
wrong? But you have
No.
to have control, take control, and practice, I guess. I don't know.
If
There's
there's-
something else, a couple other things you said, but
Yes, no question. I mean, I think you're right on spot with that. The number one skill I think I have, my confidence. I come across extremely confident. Do I always know where I'm going? No. But I do believe in me. And I can work through the process. Make no mistake, I'll get to the end. I might make a wreck of everything by the time I get there, but I will get there. My confidence is well grounded in who I am and what my skill base is. I don't know it all. I've got other brokers here and managers and trainers that really help me do that because I am a train wreck at times. So,
Didn't.
yes. Yeah, what?
We didn't notice.
Right?
Us, right?
Yeah, I know. Chris.
You said something interesting. It's knowing who you are, right? When you know who you are, and what's also interesting is those with supreme levels of confidence have been through extreme hardship, right? And a lot of times when we answer the call and when we have that test of character, whatever it is, and the way in which we answer that, that helps us see who we are and what we're capable of, and that's where a lot of confidence, at least for me, that's how I define it. It's the fact that I've been through hard things before and I know I can face it again and I know who I am, and yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's really good. Jonathan.
So in the book, she talks about an example where a naval, I want to say commander, but it's like higher brass than that, I'm sure, was at a base talking to everyone there, and someone raised their hand and said, "When are we going to be less busy?" And she's all, "You guys are swamped, aren't you?" And she's all, "Well, I can tell you this, it's not just this base, it's all of our bases. So let me ask you a more appropriate question. How many of you feel lonely?" And like 25% of the room raised their hand, which floored her. She wasn't expecting that. But then she said, "Here's the problem. We're feeling fatigued not because we're overworked. We're feeling fatigued because we're lonely.
Oh.
And if I give you time off and send you home so you can feel less worked, you'll feel more lonely and our suicides will go up."
Disconnect.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and she said, "I didn't want to ask that question, but I had to be vulnerable. I had to be willing to accept." And so your comment about confidence, she didn't have the answers. She's not a psychologist. She doesn't know how to overcome loneliness. But she says if she's willing to be vulnerable and be there with them, she can help them overcome it. And in some cases, it might be above her pay grade and she needs to send them to a psychologist. But at the same time, she said she couldn't cop out because if she sent everyone to a psychologist, then it would give the message, "Hey, I don't want to be vulnerable with you. Let's have someone else." And it's not personal.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that because it gets right into what I want to read you of why. In order for us to move forward on anything we do, we need to understand the why. Why are we this? Why are we doing this? What is it about this? Once we understand and can see that clear view and understanding, it makes it easier to move forward because we can see the path. It's not that there's going to be obstacles. Now we work through it because we're keeping our eye on the goal. Henry Ford said, obstacles are those frightful things we see when we take our eyes off the goal. Does that make sense? It's interesting because some of us, it cripples us, but this book lends to some reason of why. And listen to this. And this is on page 171. So a study published in October 22nd, 2014 issue of the Journal of Neurosurgeons that the brain chemistry changes when we become curious, helping us to better learn and retain information. But curiosity, uncomfortableness becomes involved, uncertainty and vulnerability. Our brain science changes when we put ourselves in this uncomfortable position of growth and of understanding. It's interesting how our brain chemistry changes and why we respond the way we respond. I'm always asking people, ask how you're showing up in somebody's life to make them respond the way they're responding. How much ownership should we have on that? We're not always going to do the right thing. There's a lot of times that I have to really hold myself back from wanting to choke the living shit out of somebody.
I think we all do.
But it's being vulnerable enough to understand that about yourself and go, okay, how do I get better? What do I do?
I think putting yourself in those situations makes you better, because when you're there and you're uncomfortable and you don't have that confidence, but you take that leap of faith and you face that fear, as soon as you're done with that, you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can handle it.
Well, and
It's a
the
learning
same-
experience, right?
And it's
Exactly.
the same things as the obstacles and the hurdles and everything that always seems to want to get in the way or stop you or prevent you from, I don't know, living your dream. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, why is the world beating me down? Why this? Why that? And when you do start focusing on that, it's just like what you said, right? Like your mindset does change. And you, for example, I just went through something like that recently, and I just had to almost slap myself in the face and be like, what are you thinking? Like, hello, there's a way around it, or there's a way over it. Figure it out. So,
I really appreciate you sharing that, absolutely. This is interesting in the book because Einstein's one of my favorite people in history. I've read his biography twice. He's a fascinating individual. So as you listen to Einstein, listen to what he says here. Einstein is one of our best curiosity and confidence meters. I love two of his sayings. If you had an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes talking about the solutions. Think about that. Holy cow. Because look, the solution's within inside us. It's if we look deep and think about what it is, how am I showing up, what is it I need to accomplish, are you showing up in their lives to be what they need you to be? Sometimes we need shaken. I know I do. And it's where I can focus on my best, become my best. But as we think about the problem, the issue that's in front of us, how are we going to solve it once we thought about truly what it is? Einstein used to do this. It's how he developed the theory of relativity, right?
Right, absolutely. Well, this is so powerful because everyone, myself included, everyone wants a quick fix, right?
That's it.
Everyone wants a quick fix. So how are you gonna know if you have the right fix if you don't know exactly what their problem is?
It's primarily, I love that, John, because here's primarily why I like to start any of my listing presentations with a client. Share with me ultimately what are you trying to accomplish by the sale of your property? That is a probing question. You know, Einstein developed the theory of relativity by three-position viewing. So imagine three people in this three people, and he recognized himself as the other individual and what it means about them. How are they seeing the situation? And then he went into the other person's and actually tried to understand how are they seeing it. He stepped out of the circle, looked at him, looked at the other individuals. How are we seeing it from a further perspective? He envisioned himself shooting across the universe on a beam of light because he thought about things that intently about what's going on. And look what he's developed through time, considered one of the smartest people in our time. Here's the other thing he had stated, is that he also repeatedly said, it's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with the problem longer. He analyzes it deeper. How are we analyzing it? What do you do? Right down to, am I choosing the right company, right? Yeah.
He also said, people think I take a lot of naps, but that's not true. I don't know half of what people think I know, but I know where to go to get it. And he was talking about meditation.
And I think that's powerful.
That's 55 minutes out of the hour.
I'm not sure what book it is, but they talk about actually having these conversations with mentors, meaning like Abraham Lincoln, you know, Napoleon Hill.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, it is in Think and Grow Rich, right?
Yeah.
So as you think about that, how are we solving our problems in life? Because here's what I know. Most of the time, we emotionally respond to something. We emotionally respond to something. And as we get that high emotion, we dumb way down. It's usually not the outcome we really are wanting or choosing. Because that high emotion, we don't take a step back and ask ourselves the question, what does this look like? What does this mean? Yeah.
I just got done watching the biography of Bill Gates on Netflix, and they confirmed that his superpower in life is that he can step away from problems emotionally and be able to look at it with the facts and the figures, because he's a huge analytical, and that's how he became this multi-billionaire. That's how he's eradicating polio in the world. I mean, he's doing all this stuff because he's not emotionally attached to the outcome, even though he wants it very badly. He can step away from it and think of it without dumbing himself down.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. Thanks for sharing that, because that leads right into this. The knower in us is our ego. Think about that. The knower in us is our ego. He goes on to say either races to beat everyone in the room with the answer that may or may not address the real issue, or thinks, I don't want to talk about it because I am not sure it's going to go or how people are going to react. I might not say the right thing or have the right answer. Oh my gosh. That is huge, because that is us, right? I'm afraid to be wrong. Phew. I can tell you how many times I'm wrong during the day. Pretty fascinating, because I like to be right. Man, and when I learn I'm wrong, I'm like, wow, sorry. But it's being able to get the ego out of the way and be able to grow. Don't be afraid. And it's so fascinating. People are afraid to get in and talk in a group like this, get up and do public speaking or do anything because they're afraid of the way they look. That's ego. Be vulnerable. You got to be vulnerable. Be able to grow and push outside of your comfort zone. If we do that, we're going to get more response. Make sense? Here's some specific rumble starters and questions that we use. The story I make up in my head. What is that?
It's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah. What else?
Maybe a limiting belief.
The limiting beliefs, right?
Drunk monkey.
The drunk monkey.
Yeah.
So, as you know, one of my favorite things in the morning, if it doesn't show, is now I'm the voice. Right? Because that is the voice I have to scream at myself. Now I am the voice. I will lead, not follow. Believe, not doubt. I'll create, not destroy.
I like what Curtis said the other day, because as he said that his voice is a different voice. Like it's not his voice when he hears that the drunk monkey, and I was like,
It's a whiny little child.
Yeah, and so I was thinking about him, like, because when he started talking to drunk monkey, I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound like me. So I was like, I never thought of it like that. That's a good point.
Careful,
Yeah.
you're gonna start hearing more of them.
Right? Isn't it interesting how certain individuals will pop up in your head and it's their voice? You're like, get out of my head now.
Get out.
Yeah. No, I dealt with that for a really long time. I'd be like, I know exactly. Yeah.
Yes,
What they
get
say.
out.
Yeah.
Right? But it's powerful voices.
Well, one thing we're talking around also is you have to understand that these thoughts, that is not you.
That's it.
It's not you. You have to identify that. And if there was literally, and I don't have no idea what you're talking about with the drunk monkey, but let's
I
just
don't
say
either.
That's
gotta be
let's say there's someone in the car with you, like literally in one thing, and I can't remember where I read it, but like just imagine there's a person in the car with you and you drive by a McDonald's and they're saying, man, you're hungry, like, but you shouldn't go there, but you probably will, and you always falter and you always you always make the wrong decision and stuff like that. If you literally heard someone that says the things that are thoughts all the time, you would want to shove them out of the car.
Right.
So you have to understand that these thoughts are not necessarily you. And there's so much power in, just like you're saying, I am the voice. You have to understand what that means.
That's it. I love that.
And it goes into the story you're telling.
That is a story.
Can I tell?
Yes.
So the drunk monkey, picture a monkey that's hammered in a kitchen, and what the heck's it's gonna do? It's gonna just get into every cupboard, throw knives and plates and pans and everything around, and imagine that kitchen's your brain. So you got a drunk monkey in a kitchen just going ape shit.
I love
and,
that.
and just wreaking havoc in the kitchen, but the kitchen's your mind.
That's
So
it.
you gotta put the drunk monkey away because he's gonna do no good and just make a mess. That's how I see it.
So in the book, she talks about how we become very comfortable making up stories. There was an experiment done. An individual had people evaluate 7 pairs of socks and pick one to be their favorite one. And everyone would eventually pick one. And then he would ask them why it was their favorite one. Oh, well, the tint or the shade was just a little bit different. The stitching, the thread count was a little higher. They all had a story. The 7 pairs of socks were identical.
Wow.
But they
How we
all
see it.
they all had a story just because they had to pick one. So they had to have a story as to why they could. And so she talks about stepping back, looking at her story, and seeing, could there be other possibilities? Do we have all the facts? Do we need to talk to our coworker because maybe we don't? Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that, because listen to what they say here. The story I make up. This is by far one of the most powerful rumbling tools in the free world. It changes every fact of my life. We'll walk through it in part, learning to rise. The story we make up causes us to do the things that we do. Is it a healthy story in your head?
That's why you have to control the input.
That's it, right? You know, it is. It's and it becomes a powder keg if it's not healthy.
That's what we were talking about on Monday too. Whatever the self-talk that you do, the more you say it in your own head, your own mind is gonna start believing it, and you're gonna go down that path.
That's it.
So what you say to yourself and what you do, it really does reflect on how you act
Oh,
in your life.
great wrap up. We're gonna finish this next week. Jason's gonna start the next book, in October.
Yeah.
And it's Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. Powerful, powerful book. This book is one to be read 3, 4, 5 times. So make sure you're finishing this up, get the good lessons that I have out of it, and let's do some closing affirmations.
Woo! Everyone have a great week.
Let's go.
It's perspective.
Yeah.